Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Happy Tuesday morning. I am Dr. Lori Monaco, the Badass Buddha, coming to you from Southern Connecticut. Happy Tuesday, the start of the week. What am I? I am a coach. I am a speaker. I am a teacher. I'm a chiropractic physician. I am your Badass Buddha. Good morning.
Good morning, buenos dias, mi gente. This is a mom who has a child going to school. She sounds tired, right? Yay.
No, we don't start till after Labor Day.
Oh, pom-poms. Oh, Florida already started. My grandson just started high school, and my granddaughter just started college yesterday. So anyway, good morning, mi gente. Aquí con la Margarita, your gladiator guru. Coach, I like to say it is my way and opportunity to talk all the shit that I want. Buenos dias, that's always a good thing. So, yes, mi gente, what are we? We are motivated, inspirational women who, you know what? We didn't allow the fear to stop us from doing what we're doing. And we're here now, and all we want to keep doing is progressing. Right, Badass Buddha?
Yeah.
So we should celebrate everything that we have accomplished, even taking a shower in the morning and not putting your pajamas back on. That's an accomplishment. And that needs to be celebrated on the days that you are so in tune with who you are that you know that before you go into the shower, you're bringing out your clothes that you're going to change into instead of just changing your underwear. Those are things to be celebrated. The little baby steps that we don't think too much of. So I am La Margarita, your spiritual and creative healing life coach. I am a writer, author, artist. Yesterday I had some art. They asked me to bring some art in, so that was good. We're still talking, so it'll probably just stay there for that. So that's good because I haven't been painted in a minute, so I needed that push. So what are we? Magnificent women. I am magically orgasmic, mi gente. Badass Buddha's magically orgasmic. Viva Cafe con Leche. Rebrand is magically orgasmic. So let's start the day. Let's start the day with a smile. And let's talk about some shit that is probably hovering all over all of us in this end of season, right? Because it is the end of summer. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, by our standards, our social standards, yeah, it's winding down. My eyelashes keep sticking.
Seasonal depression, because at the end of August, it means it's the end for many things and the beginning of shit we don't really want to do. And this year, it's the end of summer and the end of a lot of shit and the beginning of a lot of shit we're very much unaware of, which then builds up anxiety and confusion and depression and just taking a shower and putting your pajamas back on, which has been my story lately.
I just have to say, did you use the cup to match your shirt? Did you pick that cup today to match your shirt?
No, well, actually, green is my favorite color, so I tried to have as much on. This is a beautiful outfit that I think I just pulled too hard. Yeah, I gotta fix it. Piece that Bridget Williams delivered to me at my book signing in Bridgeport. So shout out to Bridget Williams. You know what? It's not broke. It's not broke. It just needs to get
the color. First off, the green color on you looks fabulous. You look fabulous in that color. And it's all one necklace. Is that all one necklace?
Yeah, this is all one necklace. And I was looking at it. I thought, but it's a clip here. I think it just came off the clip.
See, you totally pulled that off. I couldn't. I don't think I could do it. I don't think it would look good on me. But it looks fabulous on you. She did a beautiful job. It's so like Nubian princess kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then it comes with earrings. And so I like wood.
I do too.
Brown really isn't my color, but I got it because it has the lime green, the red, the purple. It has like the chakra colors all here. And so shout out to Bridget for that. I loved it. And I just thought it looked nice up against the lime green. But no, mi gente, Viva Cafe con Leche, the Badass Buddha, and I, we're going to be putting out a video because my space is in my bedroom. My mercantile space, my art room slash work room, is on the other side of my little casita. So I can't bring everything here. So we're gonna have of the mugs. Now we have color mugs that will be available. We have all white mugs. We have a surprise mug, and then we have some t-shirts. Working on your bling bling as we speak, as the cameo is right beside me. So we'll have a video. You can see everything. Then we will talk prices on Thursday. How's that, Badass Buddha?
Yes, that sounds absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And then you can order them. You can start ordering them. And that's how we roll. And that's how we're going to roll every day till the end of this year. And then we are going to launch ourselves forward in faith, in skill, in self-love, and just keep going, because that's all we can do. That's what we were born to do, is to continue on the journey, right? Not to stay stagnant. So with that, Badass Buddha will say some words. Namaste, mi gente. It's gloomy here. I got both blinds open. My overhead light, my front light, and I still feel like I'm in the dark.
Yeah, it is a little dark in there. You're right. But is it's gloomy outside?
Yeah, it's not that bright out.
Oh.
I mean, even if I open my curtains, I don't think so. Did that make a bit of a difference?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I'm trying to get us, let me see. I'm trying to get us situated here. Where are we? I'm telling you what, I can't seem to get, been having so much bad luck sometimes, like trying to get us up on Facebook here. It's like not, I don't know. I don't know. Very odd. Okay. I guess we'll talk about, yeah. So this is interesting. So today's conversation, good morning, Tiffany Bryan. Good morning. We were wondering where you were. We were originally supposed to have a guest on today that we had rescheduled from my screw up with getting the proper link or something. I gave her the wrong link when I was on my tour. And Joy Stanley, we were going to have her come on, and then we rescheduled her. And we reached out to her, so we hope she's okay, because I have not heard from her at all. Like, I've sent out messages through LinkedIn, through Facebook. I sent out messages through email, the Viva email, the Dr. Lori email. So we're hoping that she's okay. And we would still love to have her on. So because we didn't hear back from her, we decided to change back to what we originally had, which was, what was it? Rub, lick, and bite,
Rub,
right?
lick, and bite, yeah.
Rub, lick, and bite, right.
We can talk a little bit about that, but I think
so what happened was, what's been happening over the last, it's been a little while, but I think it's really gotten a little bit higher, I would say, wouldn't you say, over the last few days for both of us? Yes. But Gladiator Guru and I have been going through some really challenging times, and it's not challenging in the sense of, we won't get into the details of it, but it's the challenge emotionally. And so we were supposed to have a conversation yesterday to prep for this conversation on Rub, Lick, and Bite, because who knows where we would have went with that, because we had an idea where we were going to go with that. But she was busy when I wasn't. And then I said we were going to do something, and then I never called her. So we ended up not talking yesterday, and we didn't really prep for it. And what happened was, we started talking this morning before we got on, and we actually want to go into a little bit different direction. I still want you to say what you wrote, because it was so fabulous about Rub, Lick, or Bite. And maybe it'll tie into what we're talking about. But what we're going to actually talk about today is, we're going to be talking about this impending sort of negative vibe that's been sort of sitting around, and how it's affecting people emotionally. Both Gladiator Guru and I have been going through some real challenging emotional stuff lately. And Friday, both of us, interestingly, Friday had a really, really bad day. And I say the term loosely. People go, oh, there's no such thing as a bad day if you learn something to it. Listen, it's all semantics. You know, when you're in the middle of the shit, it's a bad day and you're in it, you know. And yes, there's a purpose for it. But we're going to call it what it is we felt like crap on Friday. She was in her crap zone. I was in my crap zone. We didn't even, we communicated a little bit on Friday because of the Friday night show without really fully knowing how crappy we both were until towards the afternoon. I think you started sending me texts and I started sending you texts. And you were the only person I was actually really communicating much with on Friday. And by Saturday, I wasn't communicating with anybody, really. It was, we both found out that we were both crying pretty much most of the day. And for Gladiator Guru, that's not common, although it's been since her mom's passed away. For me, I've had depression. You know, I've had issues with depression since I was 15, but I actually thought I was past it. And not that I'm saying I'm back in a depressive episode. It was because I actually pulled out by Sunday, but it's been back and forth. But here's the thing about depression, and Gladiator Guru's never had depression before. But here's the thing about depression: it's a nasty little motherfucker. It will sneak up on you when you least expect it. You will feel fine, and then something comes in and can knock you right on your ass. And for me, mine are all circumstantial. That's what's triggered my depression is situational. Actually, it's not circumstance, situational. And so we decided that that's what we're going to talk about today, that we're, you know, right now there's something in the air because I've spoken to a lot of people and they've been feeling it too. So we're just curious to see where the tribe is on that. And also what Gladiator Guru was saying is it's the end of the season. It's the end of the summer, even though summer technically wasn't until mid-September. But you know what we mean is that it's the idea of summer. It's the summer festivities where they start to shift. And I know I used to always get depressed with the end of summer. It was, and I don't know why, because I love fall, and especially New England. I love fall. So it wasn't the going into the season. It was the idea of the summer, the sun, the fun, the festivities, people getting together for parties. And it seemed like then September would roll around and it would shift into back to school, back to work, people going to organize sports. You didn't have as much time, but at the same time, though, people still did get together. So it's just this feel like that summer brings. But aside from that, we'll talk a little bit about that, whatever. But let's talk about first, I guess, let's set the intention for today and the mantra. How about that? And then we'll get started on this conversation. So the intention for today is, today I will live my best life. And that's short and sweet. That's the intention for everybody to set today is, today I will live my best life.
Amen. And that's all you need to say. And my mantra is, I am right where I need to be. I am right where I need to be. You know why? Because without being here, I won't know how to move forward in anything else. So
and it's
I
awesome.
am right where I need to be. I don't need to be anywhere else. But right here. Just marinating in all the discomfort. That's where I need to be. So yes, absolutely. Yeah, technically on the calendar, it might say mid-September, but summer, the end of August is when everything ends. The school starts, you know, all kinds of schools, pre-K. I don't even understand that, but all the way up to college, you know. So it's like, it's a bittersweet ending, August, when you live up north in the 4 seasons. Here in Florida, it's like hot or hotter. It's like you're either in purgatory or you're in hell's waiting room. So it's like, hey, which way do I go? So that's the biggest thing of being up north is you roll with the changes because the changes are many. So
and let's do a couple of shout outs. So there's Dory DeCarlo's on. Good morning, and that's interesting that Dory popped on because we want to share something about Friday. Milagros Medina, good morning. Ana Laura, good morning. Michelle Houston, good morning. And Stephanie Nieves, I'm looking at good morning.
Good morning, mi gente. Ana Laura, buenos días, mi reina.
Erica Bolahala.
Erica. So Erica's so funny. If you were to ever have the opportunity to talk to her, she is just.
Oh, I can't wait. I think we're going to have a party.
Just beautiful Irish chick.
I would have to have a party. I love it.
Milagros, bienvenida. So yes, and everyone else, Tiffany, Brian, I don't even know, are any of my sisters on?
Yes, and that just shows you. So Friday I felt so lousy, and then we did chat briefly on Friday, and you were saying you felt so lousy and you didn't even, check on your sister, and she had surgery. And then I felt terrible because I was like, oh my God. And I didn't text her all weekend. And I texted her yesterday to see how she was feeling. She hasn't gotten back to me yet, and I don't blame her. But
no, she hasn't. She's been slow. Lillian, Reina, good morning. I'm seeing everybody. Wanda's over.
Good morning, Wanda.
Yeah, she's in a lot of pain because something happened. So she's gonna end up getting knee replacement. So mi gente, today's conversation is all about that rub, lick, bite, where you are at the moment, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. How's your body dealing with all the changes that you're avoiding because it is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? So our bodies are forgotten and it suffers the most. And then you wonder why you're getting trolley horses, why you're getting all these, where your toes get all retarded looking like that because they're just, your body's suffering because we can't connect the dots and make us feel what we should be feeling. So we avoid. So mentally you're thinking this and it's going to left field, and then emotionally it's here. Spiritually you just feel so lost, you don't know what to believe in, and all the while it's like all three of them are taking a back to your body. So let's talk about that, because you know what, without everything aligned, our body's not going to walk forward. It's not going to take us into the next room. Shit, I've been forgetting from one room to the next. I'm like, okay, I need my screwdriver. I walk into the next room and I'm like, the other day I almost cried, and because the fear of dementia. My mother had that. I'm not sleeping right. And I'm like, what did I come in here for? And it took me a minute. I had to go back out to see what the hell I was doing in the other room to understand why I came into this room. So it's real. The battles that we put ourselves in because we don't handle our business accordingly is real. So you have 3 against 1, and the body is what carries you in this world. So we have to maintain it. We have to feed it what it needs spiritually, emotionally, mentally. We all need to have some type of alignment with it so that our bodies don't suffer the backaches, the neck pains. What am I looking for? That word that makes your toes go like that.
The cramp.
Spasms, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Charlie horses and all that. And believe me, you're gonna feel them. They're gonna be real. Believe the pain, it is real. And then instead of taking a pill for it, stretch and then figure out how to get there in the first place, because it's there for a reason. Doctor, you wanna enlighten us?
Well, I love that you're saying alignment, because that's what I teach. Like I teach the 7 core pillars of alignment. That's what I created. And it's based on your mental, your emotional, your physical, your physiological, so how your body works, your spiritual, your social, and your financial. And if each of those pieces are addressed, you'll align fully. And so when we're out of alignment, we just have to recognize where it's coming from. And you're right, the body will react. So if it's the body first, if like the body's breaking down, it will set the tone for everything else. So if like for instance, I was cleaning on Sunday, massively, like massive purge, which is just why my spirits were much better on Sunday. But I fell and I slipped and I banged I think my big toe got caught underneath me and I whacked it. And this sucker is, remember back in the day when you would watch the Flintstones episodes and they drop the bowling ball and it would go like that. That's what my toe looks
like. A heartbeat.
Exactly, right? And so it's And it's annoying because, I mean, I kept going and I was able to because I had my sneakers on. Or no, I didn't have my sneakers on. I had flip-flops on. It was okay, but I had a sock on. But the minute I sat down, it swelled up more. It got worse by the end of the day. So now I'm like hobbling everywhere, and it's frustrating as hell because I'm always wanting to go. So then it got me a little bit more depressed. I was better, and then it got me because I'm like, okay, I got more to do. So sometimes the physical body limitations will affect the mental and emotional, but sometimes it's the mental and emotional. Maybe I fell because my mental state wasn't completely there. And then I fell as a result of it. And I fell the day before too when I was doing something. So it's just you walking into the room. It's like you forgot what you were doing because your head is in such a different, your spirit could have been somewhere. Your spirit could have been in the kitchen. Your mental element of yourself could have been in the bathroom, and then you walked into this other room. You're like, what the hell? Like, what the
fuck am I doing here? Like, what did I come? Like, Margie, how could you forget from one room to the next?
Yeah, but we do, because humans are so complex. I mean, we really are. And I know we make things more complicated than they have to be, but we really are very complex. As much as we know about the brain, we only know about the brain what we know because of our brain, but we're also limited by that because we don't know exactly what the brain can do. We keep learning, which is amazing to me because I've been studying human anatomy and physiology since I was 22. That's when I took my first human anatomy and physiology class in undergrad. And I've been hooked ever since. I still even have my book. I was going through stuff with the Purge on Sunday, and I found my original anatomy book. It's like so old. And when you look at it, there's stuff in there that's not even accurate anymore because they've discovered so much over the last 30 years. So it's really cool to see what we've learned, and especially in the last 15. That's the most we've learned. But we're very complex. And so it's not an easy solve, it's like we can't just sit there and go snap out of it. When I was very intrigued, but I mean, I felt so sympathetic and compassionate when Gladiator Guru told me that she was crying all day on Friday. And I'm in my head, I'm going, my God, I was too. I'm like, are we connected energetically? Is it a collective energy throughout what's going on currently? There's so many things going on, and but whatever it is, it's like you're in that moment in time, and even though she was saying, we were both there, we also were both there, but we couldn't even be there for each other at that moment, just at that moment chatting about it. But it's like you're just so within that space, that energy of yourself. So I was saying that Dori DiCarlo came on, and Dori is our producer for the Viva Moms After Dark show. And both Gladiator Guru and I were like, oh my God, like, how are we going to do this tonight? We had the show Friday night, 10 p.m. And we were both not in a good headspace. And we pulled it off. Like we do that. That's the beauty about it. I've known that about myself since I had my depressive episode. And Gladiator Guru is strong as hell. She's always been that way. But sometimes when it counts and you have to pull it up, you do. But it was interesting because this is what happens, right? We got on the show and I did a lot of talking because it's easy for me to ramble and ask questions and do that. And I said to her, I'm like, before we got on, I'm like, can you do all the talking? Because I really don't feel like talking. But then I did. But then
I couldn't. I was about to say something, and I was like, oh, because then the other person answered, and Lori, I'm like, she got this.
And so we got off the call, and I went to sleep, and I went right back into that headspace. But thank God I fell asleep. And Saturday was a little, it got better as the day progressed, but it started off, I had a client in the morning, and I was able to pull it together for the client, but then it just sort of crashed and burned again. And then, so it's is anybody else, is it anybody else feeling that? Has anybody else been feeling depressed or anxious, especially within the last couple of months or last few weeks? Anybody else feeling that?
That's what I was going to ask. Depressed, anxious, they're big words. There are a lot of words that we don't want to claim, right? Because it puts us in a category. So have you been feeling like shit lately? Have you had no energy? have you just decided, you know what? Let me tell you what I've done, and then you can get a little thing of that. Good morning, Frankie. Now, I would get up, set my alarms. I'm up. I go take a shower. I go to the kitchen to make my coffee. I'm like, oh. I come back and I say, my back hurts. Let me do like I did the other day. Let me do some yoga. I lay back in my bed. I do my yoga. I fell asleep till 12:30 in the afternoon. I felt guilty. And then I was like, I just threw that bitch out because you know what? I had to seize the guilt of taking over me. And I was like, maybe my body needed this because I woke up with no body aches. I didn't have an attitude. I wasn't sleepy afterwards. So I guess my body was like, fuck your mind, fuck your emotions, and your spirituality got to be put on hold right now because I'm tired of carrying all of their burdens. And I slept. And you know what? I think that I felt better. This was Saturday. Then what did I do? I just got everything I needed. Sunday, I weeded, I mowed, I mulched. I sweated like I was a very, very twisted up salty pretzel. So I was
in church.
Removed the sink, change out the sink, did some stuff there, played with my silhouette. And so I was productive. Not as productive as I think, but remember me, gente, we're the hardest people on ourselves. So sometimes we feel we need to be booked from this time to this time. And if we don't, we feel like we wasted a day. No, you got up. You smiled. You spoke kindly to somebody, especially your reflection in the mirror. So what? You put your pajamas back on. At least you washed your ass in between and changed your underclothes. Those are the little celebrations. But I want to hear. Lori says, "I feel good to your body. Did what it needed." See, thank you. Erica said, "I've been a mess." Anyone else want to help us understand better? Because this is a tribe. So we started this conversation to see who in our tribe is somewhere. What's that thing? Who's dancing with the darkness right now?
I'm dancing with the darkness right now. Mine is totally situational. Here's what I've learned about myself over the years is that, but prior to, I didn't really know what was causing the depression, and I know it wasn't chemical. Well, I didn't know at the time, but I figured it out. And for the bit of depression that came back, for it to come back it's definitely situational. What always gets me into a funk is my finances and not saying what it is that I need to say to people, very specific people in my life. I'm not going to get into that conversation of the specific people just now.
Tell me.
No, Gladiator Guru and I know because we talk about stuff all the time. So we coach each other. She's my coach. I'm her coach. So she's well aware of it. And maybe at some point I'll have that conversation. But it's that I know. So those are two specific things for me. And I know that if they shift to the positive, I shift. So that's why I know mine is not a chemically induced type of depression. And I've really worked to study this hard. I have studied this hard for the last 5 years to better understand depression. I mean, I've been studying and teaching depression since 2002 when I started teaching pathology classes. And I would say, and this is my own theory, and I've said it before, so just don't quote me on. You can quote me, but I'm just saying, I don't throw statistics at me, but because I don't even know how accurate they would be anyway. But I'm convinced that most depression is not chemically induced. Technically it's all chemical because whatever we're thinking, if we think of something really phenomenal, we have a surge of chemicals that go off in our brain. And it doesn't matter if you're happy or sad. If you have depression or not, you'll have them unless you're really, really bad. But what I mean by chemical imbalance means serotonin specifically. They say with depression, you have less serotonin. But I don't think
that means I need more sex.
What'd you say?
I need sex.
You need sex. Okay, so it's situational for you. And so I believe that majority of the cases,
the endorphins and all those glands,
that's correct.
Gland juice.
Yes. Oxytocin and your endorphins, dopamine and serotonin, they all get surged. Those are your happy chemicals, especially oxytocin with sex.
I know.
So technically everything is chemical based because our brain runs on chemicals. However, what I mean is that it is that you have a lack of chemicals and that triggers the depression. So I think for vast majority, it's more of this, what's going on in their life. Like if they're not being true to themselves, if they're not owning their truth and living their truth and expressing themselves. I've met a handful of people who went to very bad depression and went on meds because in the end they weren't honoring themselves. Because one individual, for instance, he was gay and he grew up very Christian, and he just refused to acknowledge that he really was, and he was so depressed. And then once he acknowledged it, he was so much better. So I don't think it's all chemicals. In other words, we don't always need the meds. Am I telling people to get off meds? Not at all. Am I telling that it will never happen? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when we exhaust all possibilities. So for me, see, isn't that interesting? Gladiator Guru had a very similar weekend. We both hit our low on Friday. Saturday, was it a transitional day for you? Saturday kind of up and down, and then Sunday.
Well, yeah, I overslept, but then I overslept and I had somewhere to go, so that made me feel bad. And then, but I didn't have the energy. I didn't really want to talk to nobody. So I've been honoring my solitude.
Me too.
That's another thing. When you don't honor your solitude, you're just digging your grave deeper, because then now you're getting more lost in everything, other people's energies. So you have to, Lillian says, Margarita, and you can get the same from a trip to Spain. Absolutely. Stephanie, definitely me. Would you like to elaborate a little more, Stephanie? Because it's true. Medication, they only dole you for the 4 hours in between from when you got to take it. I'm not saying don't take your meds. I'm just saying it's not for me. I'm not medicinal in the least. I have a headache. I take a nap. My back hurts. I'll do some yoga on my bed and hopefully fall asleep. But I don't. I honor. That's one thing, I'm like all the cheeseburgers go where it's supposed to go, whatever. But I do try to honor that part. And I am a smoker, but that's my poison right there. But I believe what the badass Buddha was just saying is absolutely true. When you don't honor who the hell you are, you're going to always feel lost. You're going to always feel second class of the second class citizen. That's going to fuck with your thoughts. It's going to dampen your spirit, right? And then your self-belief is going to go out the window. You're going to start judging and hating what everyone around you, where they're at. That's not your journey. So whenever we are in a space where we look at even our friends or something and wonder, why are they there and I'm not? You know what? That's a common thought thread, right? What are they doing to get there that I'm struggling and I haven't gotten there yet? That's fine. Your next step is to ask them that, not to judge them, not to be jealous of them, not to be in competition with them, because guess what? They don't know what you're doing. So they're still carving out their path while you're digging your hole.
Yes.
That adds to a lot of that. That's not my gig. That's not the world I live in. I do what I do, how I do it, when I do it, and I don't give a rat's ass who likes it. And for those who know me know this is true. This is what life should be. Now, do we have those moments that we dip? What's that song? Badass Buddha. Ain't no mountain high, right? Ain't no valley low.
Yep.
To keep me from getting to you, I sing that song to myself. I will blast that at 3:00 in the morning like I did last night. And I dance it. And I sing that song to myself. There is no mountain too high or no valley too low that's going to keep me from getting to myself, from uplifting my spirit and my emotional baggage and archive it and then purge it. But you know what? Dory's absolutely right. The conversations I've been having with the badass Buddha, absolutely right. We must go through those lows so that when we start rising, we can understand what we need and what we no longer need to carry. My sadness is currently running into a changing season.
Yeah, and let's talk about this. So, Stephanie, I'm going to tell you, and Gladiator Guru is going to 100% agree with me on this, because
Let's see.
So what you wrote specifically is, I'm currently running into a changing season. I feel this battle taking a toll on my mind, body, and I know the change is necessary. A lot of times, the way we feel that depression is the universe's or God's way of saying that change is coming. It's inevitable. It has to happen. And with the sorrow comes in is the thought of letting it go. It's a death. It's like a death. And also the fear of the change. That it's a combination of both. I'm very well aware of that. I know that with me. I know that whenever I get into this moment of whether it's I'm telling you, I have not had this type of sadness in about 5.5 years. So that really, that surprised the shit out of me. I really thought I was past that. However, I've had episodes.
Like slut magic, it just popped up.
It does. It pops up, and not in a good pop up. Slut magic.
Yeah, it pops up again.
The anxiety here and there I've had pop up, and anxiety always tells me that this is something I've got to deal with and change, and if I'm not wanting to, and it's inevitable. But this time around, I'm feeling it deep in my gut, that the sadness that's pouring out, and the guilt, like it's not even guilt. It's I was so on a massive Friday was awful as far as. I started writing based on what I was thinking, and it was just wicked, the shit that was coming out. Like if I was saying what I was thinking about myself to somebody else, they would have either punched me or somebody would have said, how dare you talk like that to somebody else? We are so much worse with the way we speak to ourselves than somebody else. And that's where I was on Friday. And that's because I know the common denominator once again is me, and I'm not saying what needs to be said. And the universe has, and I asked for it too. I said to the universe, I need signs. I know what direction I need to go, but I'm like fearful about it. And I'm not 100% sure. I really need a little bit more. And it's like hitting me, it's hitting me like crazy. And yeah. And so with regards to what Stephanie was saying is that we have to stop and listen to it. We have to take that moment. Like Lady Guru said, she didn't want to talk to anybody. She didn't want to text anybody. That was me. I have an obscene amount of emails. I have not checked my emails since Friday midday. I haven't checked my emails. And I started checking text messages and voicemail messages on Sunday. Because luckily I've had people asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? Because I wasn't responding back to people. And so actually it wasn't even, I did it yesterday morning. So when you take that quiet time, ask yourself, what is it? What message is supposed to be coming through here? What am I supposed to be? Why am I feeling this way? And what am I supposed to be doing? And you may not get the answers, but keep asking. What is it that I'm not wanting to deal with? Where is this all coming up? Maybe it's just shit that just needs to come out. Maybe it's not that you have to deal with the situation, but maybe it's just something that's coming out.
Well, I think, yeah, you're right. But I think, it's my journey, Stephanie. It's sickening, yeah, how certain things drain us. But remember, nothing, absolutely nothing, and no one can do anything to us unless we allow it. But what are the thoughts? Me, I don't know. I ended 10 years of caregiving. 6 years for Eric, almost 4 years for Mom. Guess what happens? Now I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I got to relearn myself all over again. And so in doing that, I'm trying to relearn myself with sorrow, maybe with survivor's guilt, because these two people that got assigned to me are no longer here. But I was with them while they made the transition. There's a lot of thought into it. And then in the midst of all that, I'm planning my life with my life changes and, all these endeavors that I have. And am I going to do this? And how am I going to do that? So then now I'm overburdening myself to where I don't even want to ask a question anymore, but I'm doing it to me. There's no circumstance surrounding me that is mistreating me but myself. So I needed this woe is me week. I failed to show up for somebody because I overslept, and then I just shut down. And I only woke up at 12:30 because my niece was banging on my bedroom window. Because I didn't hear the phone, I didn't hear the front door, none of that. So, you know what? I felt bad for like an hour and a half to 2, and then I was like, okay, you know what? It's my day. It's the weekend. And I didn't really talk to nobody. I did some projects that I had to do, and then it was me, my pajamas, and Netflix and coffee. And I was happy and I was fine. And then Sunday I was very productive, up early in Home Depot, working on my front yard, all that came inside, something
Same
here.
with me.
But Stephanie, what happens when we do what the badass Buddha's been going through? Because of lack of her trust in her words to communicate. Just like the lack of my acceptance that I am now free to live my life without worrying about anybody who's ill that was under my care. Why? Because it's a big change. And can I do it? Can I do it? Will I be able to do it? See, financially, I never gave a shit about that part of it. It comes, it comes. If I don't have the money for something I think I want, it's because I don't need it. But that's just, everybody's different with what we do. So what is this? Acknowledge that we are going through something. Stephanie, acknowledge that we are going through something, that there's some bullshit that is making us sick and weak and just with sin ganas to vivir. Because when you don't want to get off the couch to do anything, that's lack of wanting to live in your moment. And that's all we own is our moment, right? So acknowledge what you're going through, what you're feeling. Accept that you are going through that and you are feeling that. Allow yourself to feel it. And I think what Lori and I did this weekend, without even knowing that we were doing it, we were cleansing. It was a cleansing. That little crying over a song, over a movie, I was still cleansing. So you got to feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. Either you lock yourself up, you take a ride, you blast your music. It's okay to tell the people in your house, listen, I need 15 minutes for myself. Don't knock on the door. Don't call me. I don't want to hear nothing about my name. And then let it go. And I had to write that to myself the other day. So that's what we're doing.
Do you mind if I share? I'm shocked that I'm going to do this, but what I wrote on Friday when I was really in that headspace, I just started spewing stuff into my notes. I don't even really know exactly what I wrote here, but so this is what I wrote on Friday. And I said, there were moments I just wanted to, and it might not even be grammatically correct because it was dictation. There were moments I just wanted to walk as far as and as long as I could, no destination in particular, walk to the point of exhaustion. So I couldn't go any further and then just stay there, sleep there, wherever I ended up. I want so badly to walk away from me, to just get away from myself, to get to the point where I was so tired that I couldn't think anymore. I couldn't feel anymore. I couldn't anything anymore. Just succumb to sleep and then get up the next day and do it all over again. Sometimes I envision myself just walking across the whole country, just walking and walking and walking, not eating, barely eating. And then I can't understand what I wrote. Then myself to be emaciated, exhausted, released, sweating dissatisfaction with myself out of me, and hoping that I would be freed by the time I reached the other side of the country. I wondered how long it would take me to walk that far, how many days, weeks, months. I wondered how I would eat anything if I was going to eat anything. How would I drink anything? Where would I sleep? How would I pay for things that I needed? But the thought of just walking and walking and walking, to let the pain go, to be a new person. I can't tell you how many times I've had that dream, that vision in my head. I've probably had that vision in my head more than I have had it for my own business and my life purpose, meaning the vision for my business and my life purpose. I just wanted to walk in the shed my failure to me, shut the awful day, I don't know what I wrote here. Shed the loser in me, because deep down, as much vision I have had, it is much knowledge, it is much as I know I'm capable, I do believe that I am a loser. So this is Friday. This is what I was saying to myself. There's no reason why anybody would want to pay me to do what I do because I'm a fraud. It's not imposter syndrome. I'm just a fraud, and I can't live with that. Yes, those that deception. I don't like lying. I don't like making people believe something I'm not. I think it's where all the pain comes from. Business cognitive dissonance is within me of whom I really am and who I want to be, yet not willing to take the action to correct and move forward. And I don't even think it's fear. I don't feel afraid to move forward. I just feel like, why bother? I'm stuck. I don't know how to be that person. I don't know how not to be a loser. I've been a loser all my life. Basically, all my relationships, I have really proven that, except my newer ones, the people are wonderful, but any relationship prior to October 2015, most people who I've been close to have treated me like shit because they could, and they do that and they can get away with it. And I wasn't going to fight back because I am nothing. I am a loser. I deserve to be treated that way. It's a shame because I never really thought I always thought I was such a sweet kid. So optimistic about life. Boy, this goes quite a way. I'm really spewing stuff off. Yeah.
How'd you feel when you wrote that, though?
I did not feel better because that was in the morning. The beauty is it's time stamped, right? And so that was just the start of the day. And it got progressively worse. I think I mellowed out a little bit in the afternoon, but the stuff was still in there. But that was at the worst. It was from 8 in the morning till probably about 3 in the afternoon. And it's just, it goes on and on. And I purposely did it. I said, you know what, I'm going to just let it spew out of what is going on in my head, because I wanted it written down, of that self-loathing, that, do I believe all of that? On my good days, no, because I know what I'm capable of. But on my bad days, yeah, and we've, I said stuff like, I don't know.
But it didn't make you feel bad. Listen, let me ask you a question. I'm listening to everything you said, and then you said you wanted to do all this stuff, but then you built this big wall in front of you with how am I going to pay for it? What am I going to do if I don't have enough money? Do you feel that constant thinking about your financial stuff chops your visions of progression in half, because you're like, well, because then it stops you from wanting to go forward, because your financial numbers come in and then they're like a damper. They're like the thief of dreams.
Oh, for sure. Financials. Yeah.
You started that off when you mentioned something financial earlier. So that part, we're on opposite sides of the spectrum of the world when it comes to that. Like money makes the world go round. But I'm to the point where, fuck it, I don't have it. It'll show up. And it always shows up for me. That's been my life story. But so I'm listening to you wanting to leave, and that just made me so happy, because I'm gonna be walking through Spain again soon. And then it's like you put a damper on my vision of walking when it was. So I'm wondering, how much of a weight is that in your spirit when the financial is constantly brought up, that you can't do what you have to do because you're not financially. And does anybody in the tribe feel like that?
Well, it's the funny thing is, for me, it's both. It's so I could say that I can't do what I want to do financially because I'm not where I need to be financially. But on the other hand, I'm also incapable of bringing the finances to me. So I know that. I've known that about myself.
But what is the finance? What do you need the finance for other than building yourself mentally and spiritually? Like, what would the finance? This is for the tribe.
For me,
we all have these things. We all have these things. Like freedom of what though? Freedom is you. It's how you feel. So
independence.
What? Okay, but for what lifestyle? Because everybody has a lifestyle. I live my life. I'm very independent, and I go wherever I want to go, and I'll have just enough, and maybe that's my problem. And you want to make sure you're very comfortable. But what does that look like? So I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying, what does that look like? Because to me, people are like, where are you going now? You don't even have no money. But I live my life according to a clock, which means that every day is a day closer to my demise. So every day that I wake up, it's a day less that I have at the end part of my life. The end game of my life is coming sooner. So I need to make sure that I'm living the best. So why was I crying Friday? Because I felt like it was 5 months on Friday that my mom had passed away. And I feel like I have these 3 main goals that I have to bring to fruition, and I have been ignoring it. So, and it's not because, but I understand what you're saying, but I meet a lot of people who don't live life because their bank account is not where they feel it should be. And I'm just saying, according to who? If you have enough money to get you with gas and food and a hotel stay for wherever you're going and back, then you're a motherfucking millionaire. Because you took the time to remove yourself.
I know.
You had enough money to get there, eat, sleep, and get your ass back in the car and drive back home safe. So you are a motherfucking millionaire. So why do we add all these big dollar signs that then all we do is we're collecting all this money, but we're sitting in shit in our misery? That's my question.
That was a long question. I don't even remember what the
because I've mentioned
I'm very clear. I'm very clear on the definition for me. What does that bring me? It's the independence and the freedom. I'm very clear, and I have it written down. So that part is there. It's the connection between self-worth and the value of the services that I offer to be able to build up my business. So, but that's just like a piece of it. That's just a piece of it. It's the reason, the idea of, and I didn't mean to put a damper on your walking. And actually, what I'm trying to say is walking. It's the idea. I mean, I get why you want to go there again. I get why people do that. It's a spiritual journey, but it's emotional and a mental journey as well, and it's a physical journey. Like the idea of walking to the point of, that's what I was trying to say is I want to be able to just walk. There's sometimes where I'm so in my head and I'm not in a good space where I just want to walk. Like I want to literally just walk all day long, like as far as I can. I think of Forrest Gump, like when he just started running. Yeah. And he just started running. And you know what's funny? I was talking to this about to somebody else. And it's Forrest Gump. I love that movie because it's got so much insight to that movie, even
from beginning to end.
It does. And he's such a simple man, and he just does things and not even thinking about it. And then we overthink it. But he just said, I just started running. And then at the end, he just stopped because he didn't need to anymore. That's my thought. My idea is to just walk to the point of physical exhaustion, fall asleep, then get back and do it again in the morning until there's nothing inside anymore. All that bullshit that's inside comes out. And I'm sure that that's why a lot of people, without maybe saying it in that way, do that walk. That because that is what happens. What they're seeking in that spiritual climb is to release that is within us that's holding us back. And so for me, it's a physical piece of it. It's just the sweating of it too.
Body, mind, and spirit is what the Camino is about. And you don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be anything. You're doing it for you. You're doing it to go while you're walking, go through your archive files that you've been holding on to and purging and leaving the old you, that negative Swiss cheese looking motherfucker behind, and reintroducing yourself to the woman that you are. And you can only do that when you're alone, when you're walking. You have a beautiful trail in Shelton, Lori. Walk it, because that's a beautiful trail through the woods. I love that trail. And that's what it's about. And you're right. We need that time of sweating all the impurities through our pores. and like it's like that slush just melting all the negativity from your thoughts and into your body, and then sweating it out, and then coming home and washing it off and watching it go down the drain. And we can all do that. Simple, like Forrest Gump. Be simple. We want to be all creative and draw a map and have this big string pins with the strings, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to put a picture of what I want to see. And then before you look at it, the board is all tangled up with the yarn. Just be simple and be you. And get up every morning and say, I love you, Margarita. You are the best thing that has happened to me today. And the simple words of, I got this, and I forgot that. And I was talking to the badass about it. I forgot that. I forgot to tell myself every morning that I got this. Why? Because I said my prayers that night, and I meditated that morning, and that would make me feel like I sent out a prayer, and I sat still in the morning to receive it, and I didn't do none of that. And it was bad. So look at what Dory wrote for you, badass. So yeah, and to honor badass Buddha and I, we talk truth, we speak truth. We're not always gonna get along. We're not always gonna see eye to eye, and that's what makes it marvelous, darling. Because we're not supposed to be each other's echo. We're supposed to be genuine. We're supposed to be real in our own awesomeness. And that's what provides for a great show, because we're not going to we're not going to agree on everything. And and those who know me know I've always been on a Wednesday, oh, I want to go to Florida this weekend. And I do it. I pack up the kids and I'm in Walt Disney that weekend. And that's how I've always lived my life. And then I'll figure it out. And guess what? I've never been evicted, and my power never went up. I always figured it out. But I didn't cheat myself out of those little moments that were doable. And that's why when I hear like the badass who went on this phenomenal trip across country, and it's like we have to just get back to us, because she went on that trip and she was like, fuck it. I have this amount of money and the trip is this long. Look at Niente. She said, I have this amount of money and my trip is this big. And guess what? She came and went and ate and had some activities with her dogs and her children. And that's what we got to remember. How we did that. We did that. You did that, badass Buddha.
Yes, but listen, here's the thing. And I know it's time, we're at the end, but here's the deal though. As much as you say that, and you know this, because I can sit there and say all the awesomeness to you too. When we're in that headspace, it's like deaf ears. Because we want to believe what the other person is saying, but again, we are our biggest critic. We can also be our biggest cheerleader, but we are, when we're in that headspace, I love that, by the way. We are, that's why we have to take those moments. We have to, to me, walking the trail is one thing, but walking like to the point of just absolute fatigue for hours is more impactful. And that's why I think a lot of people, when they get to that feeling, when they're feeling like I gotta go. See, what was beautiful about you is you just went. Like if you with the kids, and I used to be that way myself. I used to be that way. If I just wanted to go, I went. And so it's these moments where we have to, when we're in that headspace, to just take that quiet time for ourselves and really ask those deeper questions. What is it really that's triggering this? What is it that's really bothering? Why am I really feeling this way? Was it something that somebody said? If it was something that somebody said, what was it that upset me so much? And I had put on the comments that an exercise that is really, really good for people to do is to ask yourself, what are you tolerating? We've mentioned this before, but it's a list. So you think about all the things that you're tolerating in your life. Tolerating means that you really don't want it there. That if it wasn't there anymore, you'd be good. So ask yourself, what are you tolerating? And the bigger the list you have of things that you're tolerating, the more it chips away at your spirit, truly. Mm-hmm. And so, my list shifts every so often, but again, because I'm not willing to resolve at this moment in time certain things, there's certain things that are right at the top of that list of tolerance. And it gets to you after a while. And I know, that's why I'm saying situationally, minor situational. I know what is causing it. Now it's a matter of being brave enough to say, I'm done. I've said I'm done. I'm ready. I surrendered to a lot of things in my life over the last 5.5 years, which is why I've become the person I am. Wouldn't be the badass Buddha if I didn't go through that transformation.
Amen.
It's the next phase. It's the next phase. And I know that for me because I've gotten to a certain level of growth, and now the next leap of growth is about to happen, and I'm fighting it tooth and nail because of the unknown element of it. And that's where the depression is coming from. That's where the low point is coming from. So I know it. I recognize it's just a matter of moving forward.
And that, you know what? But what's the most important step?
Being
It's
aware,
recognizing it,
knowing
right?
you have a problem.
Yes.
Knowing recognizing you have a problem.
And then categorizing it like you just did, and knowing that this is the thorn in my side, but I just can't remove it just yet. It's bearable for now. So in that, when we know that, then it's up to us to control how we outpour those emotions towards others. So if you can't do it, then don't talk to nobody. And I think that's what we've been doing. I have nothing to share. I can't be enthusiastic for you. Like I can't be that cheerleader. What the hell, gay? Because of how I was feeling. So I'm not going to share that negative energy with you. And then
right. That's how I felt. That's how I felt too.
And that's how it should be. So remember, rub on the idea of change, because it is. It's like, what's that rub? Like chub rub, that thigh rub when you don't wear and it's hot out and you're rubbing, right? Rub on that idea of change, because that means when that rub starts on your shoe, the back of your foot, whatever, the shoe's too small, the pants are too tight, that means you need to change something, right? You need to change your shoes, you need to change your pants. So rub on the idea of change for your life. Lick the hell out of the stamp of self-approval and bite the shit off of negativity. Choose the opportunity provided and rise above it all your way, one step at a time. And that's how we progress. You can't do what I do. I can't do what you do. Let's do what we were born to do. And if we stay in our own lane, we won't be in traffic. There's no traffic jams to our progression. Only when we want to be in someone else's motherfucking lane. So stay in your lane. Focus on what you got to focus on. And let's rise above it. And that's it, mi gente. That's all I got.
That was great. I loved that. And I wanted to write this before we go.
Dory, Chanel, Stephanie, Nieves,
Tiffany,
Erica. Who else? Lillian.
Yep.
I'm finding out the ones that Wanda, Tiffany, Brian, all of you who wrote and commented and shared and absorbed from the other side of the screen. Gracias, because together we are the most powerful species in the universe. I cannot tell you, Michelle. I cannot keep reminding you about the power of listening. We are the strongest beings in the universe, and sometimes we need to be vulnerable with one another via face video if we have to right now. But you know what? That's how we spread the love and the strength from one empowered woman to another when that dark cloud is hovering. And once the rainstorm is through, we'll come out shining. We're going to come out shining in all of this. But the minute we voice it out, we let it come back and share it with one another, that just makes us stronger in our own journey. So thank you for sharing, everybody.
I know we've got to go, but I just wanted to quickly answer this because we do have to go. But Nancy wrote, she said that she's a one-sided friendship. She gives 100%. She doesn't receive the same back. She doesn't understand why and can't move forward from it. And that's not uncommon, Nancy. One thing I will say is, and this is coming from personal experiences, we have to teach people how we want to be treated. If you don't have a boundary, and I'm so challenged by this for most of my life, if your friends do that, they have to be called out on it. So you have to tell them. We make assumptions that people understand how we want a friendship to be. But if we let them go, if boundaries are not laid out right in the beginning, then they will always be there. And as we change and we don't let them know the new boundary, so that maybe the bravest thing you'd have to do was really say to these friends, that's it. Like this
No
is
más.
want to be treated.
No
Yeah,
más.
exactly. And if you can't, or if you do and they don't change, then it's time to get new friends. And it is worth it. I've like I said in my thing, you didn't hear it, but prior to October 2015, the friends that I had forged, I mean, I still have some of them now because we reestablished a better bonding friendship on my part. I did my part and it was great. But there were others that got left in the dust I had to walk away from and other relationships because I didn't teach them how I needed to be treated and they treated me like shit. So that's, and it's different now. So it's different now with my friendships, and I'm grateful because I finally stood up for who I was. So I get you on that one. And Tiffany Bryan also said she really needed this today. Love you too. So we love you too, Tiffany, and we're thrilled that we were able to help you. And so yeah, we gotta go. And I actually have a client call at 9:15. So thank you so much for coming. And thank you for letting us share what we've been, going through. This was really, really important to us, and it seems like it really was needed for all of you out there too. So if you're just tuning in, go back and listen because this was a really good show.
We're going to continue this because we need it. And
well, maybe Thursday.
Through healing others, we heal ourselves. And that's why I believe in being of service. So with that, my friend Maria de Pilar was flying in from Peru into Miami. Let's just send a quick prayer there. Okay. And then from Miami to New York. So prayers go. She was concerned of the tropical storm that we haven't gotten. So,
okay.
So that is good. So yes, and thank you everybody for hanging in there. Linda McBee.
Buenos dias. All right, my dears. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember, breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. See you Thursday.